I rise to present the interim budget for the year 2019-2020.
This is no interim budget, this is an election budget. It is the mother of all election budgets.
They were high-stressed and non-performing assets amounting to rupees 5.4 lakh crore in 2014. We put a stop to such questionable practices and stop the culture of phone banking. The 4 R's approach of recognition, resolution, recapitalization and reforms have been followed.
Surprisingly, the budget speech has no mention whatsoever of government recapitalizing the banks, and that is a big hole, as it were, in the budget exercise. So the silence in this year's budget speech as compared to long paragraphs in the previous year's speech is a little surprising, because that is what is really holding back investment as well as consumption in the economy.
To provide an assured income support to the small and marginal farmers, PRADHAN, MANTRI, KISAN, SAMMAN, NIDHI, PM-KISAN नाम की एक ऐतिहासिक योजना इस सरकार ने मंजूरी की है। जो वल्नरेबल किसान हैं, जो 2 हेक्टेयर तक की जिनकी ज़मीन है, उन सभी को सीधा उनके इनकम में सपोर्ट, डायरेक्ट इनकम सपोर्ट 6,000 रुपए प्रति वर्ष के हिसाब से देने का निर्णय सरकार ने किया है।
Frankly, it is not much of a relief at all, and ironically the government seems to have preferred to go with the Telangana model, which seems to be linked to land holding, rather than the Odisha, the Kalia model, which is linked to basically income levels. The problem is going to be, how do you identify the beneficiaries in a country where we don't have proper genuine land records at all?
This income support will be transferred directly into the bank accounts of beneficiary farmers in 3 equal installments of rupees 2,000 each.
This is a kind of icing on the cake. So some can say, the states will make their own efforts. But he's saying, I am giving you this over and above that. At the margin, it helps. It really does help. This is an immediate boost to give credibility to the BJP before the election.
Pradhan Mantri SHRAM-YOGI MANTRI will be for the organized sector workers with monthly income up to rupees 15,000. This pension yojana shall provide them an assured monthly pension of rupees 3,000 after they achieve the age of 60 years.
I'm a little foxed, to be honest, because we do need some kind of a social security scheme, and given the changes in society, the breakup of the joint family, etc., we do need pension schemes. But the Atal Pension Yojana has also not been much of a success. There's lack of awareness, banks are not too interested, so one doesn't really know how much of an offtake there will be or interest there will be in this. In a country where most people are still wondering where their next meal is going to come from, I'm not sure too many people will be worried about how it happens after 60.
See, this kind of pension scheme is very difficult because, from a salary, it's easy to have the monthly installment deducted at source. But if you are getting stuff in cash, to have the discipline to put aside that sum month after month after month, it's so difficult that many micro pension schemes so far have failed.
To promote entertainment industry, single window clearance for ease of shooting films, earlier available only to foreigners, is now going to be made available to Indian filmmakers as well.
Because we feel that it will help us in augmenting foreign exchange, earning through films and animation sector.
Now approved a path-breaking technology-intensive project to transform the income tax department into a more assessee-friendly one. All returns will be processed in 24 hours and refunds issued simultaneously. Almost all verification and assessment of returns selected for scrutiny also will be done electronically without any personal interface between the taxpayer and the tax officer.
I think that is a great measure to reduce any kind of ambiguity, any kind of harassment that the taxpayers face in case of tax assessments.
Indian Customs is introducing full and comprehensive digitization of export-import transactions and leveraging RFID to improve export logistics.
This introduction of this comprehensive digitalization of export transactions and use of RFID technology will definitely help us to reduce the time taken in movement of the EXIM cargo, because in many cases exporters complain that both the time and cost of inland movement of cargo is much more than the overseas movement of cargo. Secondly, since we will be using the RFID technology, we will be capturing the entire movement of the trucks where the RFID tags will be given, so that you not only identify the bottlenecks, you will be able to plug it also.
The estimate of incomes and expenditure, which I am presenting today, pegs the fiscal deficit of year 2019-20 at 3.4% of the GDP.
Well, the numbers do look a little suspect, but ironically, the government does also not seem to be committing so much to its fiscal glide path, because next year's fiscal deficit is also pegged at 3.4 as against what they had promised of bringing it down to 3.1. But the problem with assessing fiscal deficit numbers is that government has various means of fudging and smoke and mirrors. So it's very difficult prima facie to say how much of that is being done. But certainly, as far as the gross borrowing is concerned, is going up very substantially, as a result of which interest rates are likely to rise.
Along with completion of our fiscal deficit consolidation program, we'll now focus on debt consolidation program.
Will you be able to get to the target of debt down to 40% of GDP by 2025? You will have to do better than this.
Individual taxpayers having taxable annual income up to rupees 5 lakhs will get full tax rebate. As a result, even persons having gross income up to rupees 6.5 lakhs may not be required to pay any income tax if they make investments.
So to help the urban, they say 30 million people are going to benefit by getting a full rebate on income tax up till 5 lakhs. I mean, the limit to have jumped from 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs a month is a huge jump, unprecedented in budgetary history. They've been able to do it and get away without losing too much, because last year the income tax on this slab was reduced to 5%. So by waiving it, they are only losing 5%. Secondly, 5% is only being lost on people up to 5 lakhs. For people earning more than that, those people will continue to pay even on this particular slab.
For salaried persons, standard deduction is being raised from the current 40,000 to rupees 50,000.
Well, as far as the middle class is concerned, I think it's really quite a huge bonanza, because it really wasn't expected. Because first of all, we've had the doubling of the tax exemption slab from 2.5 to 5 lakhs. Then we've also had the interest that is available for interest on back deposits goes up from 10,000 to 40,000 rupees. So this is going to be hugely important for the pension class, for the retired people, because you have no TDS up to 40,000 rupees. You also have standard deduction, which goes up from 40,000 to 50,000 for the salaried. So the lower middle class, the middle class, the salaried, I think all of them would be hugely happy with this government, because it's not only unexpected, it's a substantial giveaway as far as the government is concerned.
I have proposed to extend the period of exemption from levy of notional income tax on income tax on notional rent on unsold inventories from 1 year to 2 years from the end of the year in which the project is completed.
So there has been a concerted push to housing. I think the government is aware that there is distress in the real estate sector. There is a huge unsold inventory, and there is a bid to get the real estate sector kickstart once again. If that happens, there should be some benefit to the economy, because construction is heavily closely linked to the real estate sector.
I have not yet seen an election that can be bought with a budget. If this one is done, it will be the first.